Have you ever wondered how old you had to be to run for governor? Or if the state can require public school attendance? Did you know that Idaho citizens have a right to hunt, fish, and trap? I have recently learned a lot by reading the Idaho State Constitution and have come up with a way to learn the topic headings for each of the articles using visual images. This makes it easier for me to locate answers to my questions. I have created two separate videos to help others do the same. The first covers Articles 1 through 10, and the second covers Articles 11 through 21. The second half of each video will give you practice finding things in the Constitution, so you may need to pause while you locate the answer to the questions. Here we go. Article 1 guarantees certain rights to all Idaho citizens. Section 21 of Article 1 adds this important clarification. This enumeration of rights shall not be construed to impair or deny other rights retained by the people. In other words, this is not intended to be a complete list of rights. It just names what are considered to be the most important. Some of the rights listed are Section 9, which holds citizens responsible for abusing their right to free speech. Section 11, which prohibits the confiscation of firearms, except those actually used in the commission of a felony. Section 23 guarantees Idaho citizens the right to hunt, fish, and trap, stating that they are a valued part of the heritage of the state of Idaho. Article 2 is the shortest and contains only one section. The powers of the government of this state are divided into three distinct departments: the legislative, executive, and judicial, and no person or collection of persons charged with the exercise of powers properly belonging to one of these departments shall exercise any powers properly belonging to either of the others, except as in this Constitution expressly directed or permitted. Does this sound familiar? That is because this separation of powers is the hallmark of our federal government as well. Article 3 gives details about the first of the three branches of government listed in Article 2, the legislative department. I have used the image of the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. to help me remember this because it is more familiar. The legislative department is divided into the Senate and the House of Representatives. Currently, Idaho has 35 legislative districts, and each district has one senator and two representatives. Sections in Article 3 detail the qualifications of members, procedures for originating and amending bills, and the compensation of members. Other interesting sections specifically prohibit gambling, promote temperance and morality, define marriage as between a man and a woman. Article 4 gives details about the second of the three branches of government listed in Article 2, the executive department. I have used the image of the White House in Washington, D.C. to help me remember. This article names the officers in the executive department, their qualifications, duties, and powers. Article 5 gives details about the last of the three branches of government listed in Article 2, the Judicial Department. I remember this using the iconic U.S. Supreme Court building. This article distinguishes between civil actions and criminal actions, describes the structure of judicial power, and defines treason. There are currently 7 judicial districts in Idaho. Hopefully, this building will become as familiar to you as the federal buildings are to most of us. This is the Idaho State Capitol building in Boise, Idaho. This is where the House and the Senate meet and where the governor has his office. Construction began in 1905 and was completed in 1920 at a cost of over $2 million. The building is open to the public and tours are available for those who would like to learn more. There are actually tunnels that connect the state capitol building to the Supreme Court building. However, they are not open to the public. You can learn more about the construction of the Supreme Court building at idahoarchitectureproject.org. Time for a quick review. Article 1, the Declaration of Rights is similar to the Bill of Rights. Article 2, the distribution of powers separates government into 3 distinct branches: the legislative and executive and the judicial. Articles 3, 4, and 5 give the details about each of the 3 branches of government. Along with rights comes responsibilities. As citizens, one of our most important responsibilities is electing good people to serve in government offices. Article 6 specifies the rules for elections, including who can vote, how they vote, the recall of elected officers, and the nonpartisan selection of Supreme and District Court judges. In addition to specifying the rules for taxation in general, Article 7 has rules about revenue from two specific sources. Tax revenue from motor vehicle fuels and from motor vehicle registration are to be used exclusively for the construction, repair, maintenance, and traffic supervision of state highways and for any costs incurred by financing these projects. Three funds were created in conjunction with the settlement agreement between tobacco manufacturers and the state of Idaho. They are the Idaho Millennium Permanent Endowment Fund, the Idaho Millennium Income Fund, and the Idaho Millennium Fund. Section 18 specifies the distribution of money between these three accounts. When we don't have enough revenue or income, then we can borrow to get what we need. Since borrowing has significant impact on the future, Article 8 specifies limitations on incurring public debt and addresses specific public services that have a good reason to incur debt. Examples of reasons the government might go into debt include environmental pollution control, hospitals and health services, electric systems, and airports. Article 9 establishes a state board of education headed by a superintendent and allows the legislature to make public school attendance mandatory for children between the ages of 6 and 18, unless they are legally educated by other means. Section 5 prohibits school funds from supporting any religious purpose, and Section 6 prohibits a religious test or teaching in the public schools. Other sections provide rules for school endowment funds and school lands. Anything to do with education is likely to be found in Article 9. I remember that this article is just after the article on debt because acquiring a college education is a justifiable reason to go into debt. Article 10 gives the state the right to establish other public institutions such as educational, reformatory, penal, institutions for the insane, blind, deaf, and dumb, or others as the public good requires. The most significant part of Article 10 is that it designates Boise as the location of the seat of government and sets the rules for changing this location. Time for one more quick review. Article 6 pertains to voting. Articles 7 and 8 are both about money. Specifically, Article 7 is about general taxation and includes gas and tobacco revenues, and Article 8 is about servicing public debt. Anything to do with education is in Article 9, even if it involves money. Article 10 captures both the location of the state capital and gives the government the right to establish other public institutions. Here's the fun part. Knowing just the headings of the first 10 articles in the Constitution, can you find the answer to the following questions? Pause the video as needed. Where can I find out if I am old enough to run for governor? Where can I find out if my gun collection can be confiscated because my kids think I am mentally unstable? Where can I find out how the money I pay for motor vehicle registration should be spent? Where can I find out if an elected official can be recalled? Where can I find out where the capital of Idaho is? Where can I find out the names of all three branches of government? Where can I find out if my kids have to attend public school? Where can I find out if the state government can issue environmental pollution control revenue bonds? Where can I find out if senators can be arrested for tax evasion during a legislative session? Where can I find out what the difference between a civil action and a criminal action is? How did you do? Thanks for watching.